Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm very privileged to have Naga today, and it's going to be a very exciting session today. So before we get into today's exciting session with Naga, let's talk about what we're going to do today. So first of all, my name is Dharam Singh, and I have been training PgMPs, PfMPs, PMPs, running my company called vCareProjectManagement for some time now. And we are providing all kind of training now, scale agile and disciplined agile, many other training. So I was in Australia, but recently, not recently, now actually 1.5 years ago, I moved to United States. And other than bushfire and COVID, everything is great here. I mean, there was one more factor which is out of sight, which is a good thing. But otherwise, we are going through a very tough time, as you know, and we have been into this almost a year now, actually a year, when we got into the COVID and still going through and impacting so many people around the world. One way or other, we are getting impacted. So, I've been telling this is actually can be a good time for you to be ready for the unknown future. And more and more people are actually doing something extraordinary, which was normally they didn't do, but now because they have more time, and you probably have more time to look into some certification or some more learning, look at your physical activities, whatever can help you to stay stronger and excel in your life. So that's what we are here. And I have so many, I started the series of webinars long time back, and I am inviting the industry leaders almost every week now. And this time, I'm very privileged to have Naga Bandaru. And she was my PgMP student. And she passed the PgMP exam, flying colors. And she will give her introduction. But let me talk a few more things about her. She has many other certificates other than PgMP. She's the ACP, CMMi, CSM, and she's the program manager, senior director of CACI. How do you pronounce CACI or CACI?
CACI.
CACI. And she's living in Virginia, United States. So, Naga, welcome to the session.
Hello all, good morning and good afternoon to all of you. It's my privilege that Dharam asked me to do this seminar, and I'm always there for the community. Like he said, this is the time we should reflect back to ourselves during COVID, and passionately you should think about what's out there, as well as support and mourn for the families who are passing through a hard time. Like he explained, we can start off some agility and all. Yeah, it all starts at home. Definitely we all together we can do this and come out successfully during this hard times.
Yeah,
definitely. Dharam?
Yeah, Naga, if you don't mind, I think you're looking other side. If you look this side, that will be better.
Sure.
Towards the camera, that will be much better. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, Naga, I don't think I need introduction. If you already connected with Naga on LinkedIn, she's highly accomplished professional, and I was surprised to know that when I start talking to her, that she, yes, while she's working in the IT and doing bigger programs, but she's actually coming from journalist background. Is that correct, Naga?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, normally your other side where you're asking question, you interviewed people like the Prime Minister of India at the time, Narasimha Rao, and some of the big personality. So
right.
So you normally you're other side of asking question, and this time I'm asking question. So yes.
Yeah, I'm now on the other side. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm here to take the hits from you. No problem.
No, I mean, I don't have curly questions. So, I have a very simple strategy or, the agenda we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Naga is highly accomplished executive with more than 20 years of IT experience. So after her, working for in India for the big, I don't know, remember the name of the company, the media company you worked for in those days. She worked for top secret, working across DoD, DHS, ESA. I think we should not talk some of their projects. But yes, she's like a top secret agent. But yes, so that's why we are more privileged to listen from her, from her experience, what she has done in her life, and what she is going to talk about agility. And so that's where we are today. Naga, would you like to talk about yourself a bit more?
Sure, I can tell like briefly. It's not more about me. It's like my journey with Dharam is one of the I would say after a long time I found a equal and a person who can guide you or who can be a good friend of you. So that's what Dharam is. I mean, it's not just as your coach or mentor, or he can be there and you pick up a call to him and then talk to him. That's what I definitely liked it. And I definitely refer Dharam as anybody who is looking for a mentoring, or if you want to go through any of your professional certifications, all those things you find on YouTube, you find a lot of material on Google. But by nature humans are social animals. So we tend to expand, we tend to meet new people, we tend to associate ourselves with with having the same ideas, having that maturity. So Dharam is one of those rare people that you meet, not just coaching, but he does a lot of yoga. He's into a lot of spiritual talks, and I know the word spiritual is more abusive of recent days, but it is that type of things that we do need reflect back on ourselves, and what we can do, how we make the difference. So coming back to explaining of who I am, of course I came from a very small village from India. I'm really proud of it. My dad was the inspirational personality in my life, and my mom as well, and my grandparents. They all are Sanskrit scholars, and my dad into English literature, and he has 5 master's degrees, and he took his life entirely and dedicated to Ramakrishna mission is the one that he worked as a school headmaster to bring the village. That time India got the freedom to bring them onto the mainstream and to educate them. He dedicated 30 years of his life entirely in that, towards entire region. And yeah, of course, he won a lot of gold medals and all. I remember myself, what he preached, he followed. He did not send us to a hi-fi convents or anything. He enrolled his kids in his own school. So we studied in his own school. That's a government school. I remember in my 7th grade, I stood up in one of the podiums to speak about. That's one of the Vivekananda, who came to address the conglomeration of religion, across the world here in US. So I read his Chicago speech. I pretty much remember that, so here I am in US, like Dharam said, yes, I do work in DoD and I respect the country and I'm a citizen. It's the nation that comes first. It's your motherland, it's your land where you stand that comes first. rest of the things next, of course, your family, and that's how your agility starts. So, that's what a brief introduction of me. Yes, I worked in my initial days. I have a master's in communication along with computer science. I did work as a journalist. I reached, to the highest echelons, whatever you can call it, and the well-circulated newspapers I worked. I met with, that was the time I think I'm like 25, 24. I started my career. I started very young. My master's by 23. So, that's more or less, and here I am, like I said, I work in currently CACI, and, do a lot of top-notch, big programs, huge programs, where culture, organizational culture, agility, change, they are very important. How you shape or how you handle that complexity. That's my day-to-day work. So, anything, Dharam, from here?
It's good. Thanks for the introduction. Good to know more about you and your father and how he did. All it's great inspiration, and I know, and you are inspired by him, and you're doing great things. So, good. Thank you once again to be part of this session. And there are so many people very keen to learn from you and the word we are in and how we are moving towards the term called agility. We are already in agility. There are confusion, Naga, with the word agile versus agility. Agile is the way of doing probably some project, program, Scrum Master, and kind of things. Agility is different thing, isn't it? So, first of all, I think people like to know what do you mean by enterprise agility? Agility and enterprise agility, and how do we achieve that?
I give a very different perspective, though. I mean, you guys can get the book definition of what is agility or what's the difference between agile and all. So based on my how I handle or how I'm a big champion of agile or process management and bringing agility and bringing culture change or bringing a change itself, or how to induce a change using agility. So those type of things are like, I always, learn every day, and I also implement it in a daily basis. So agility is, like I said, I'll give you a very different perspective. It's all inclusiveness, all inclusiveness. I was, like you see that same example in your day-to-day, when you're growing up with your older siblings. I always used to compete with my brother. He was older to me. No matter what, if he does something, I can do it. That's it. Given it any granted. So, but he used to teach me, you need to be, all inclusive. So you should inclusive, not always, chasing something or doing something. So all inclusiveness is the agility. If you are all inclusive, automatically you'll be, the follower, you'll be the leader, and everybody in the enterprise level, they definitely love you to work with you because you're all inclusive. It's always asked by my customers, like, I have two opposite colors always in the room. If I go to the customer side and, right side of the table has different perspectives, different priorities, versus the left side of the table has different perspectives and then priorities, and in the center some other things. So those if I drop down to a real good example, in a given meeting, you have a portfolio manager has a different perspective versus a security operations guy has a different perspective versus a execution PM has a different perspective. So they all have different levels of pull and push will be there. So I tell all of them hey, I'm here to work with all of you. So you ask me who is your priority, or how do you pick your favorite things, or how do you manage us? It's as simple as I manage my home, right? I have 2 kids. You ask me who is your favorite kid? No, I don't have any favorite kids, but I do. Both of them are my favorite kids as well. So that's how I manage them. That's how, like, the agility should be sprinkled across in a day-to-day, in a daily work schedule. That kind of gets them, it imbibes them, inspires them to do it. It's not like, so much of augmenting, it's so much of doing it by voluntarily. That's what I expected from all of them. You want to add it?
Yeah. So just a minute, Naga. Let me tell people you have opportunity to ask question from Naga. So feel free to put your question on that question pad, and you will also get a PDU code, and nearly at the end of the session. So if you can stick around until that time, you will get the PDU code. Okay. So Naga, if you want to continue, or you want to have something else on the same topic.
Yeah, I think agility we explained very good. And
so yeah, so let's talk about some scenarios, some future scenarios.
Move on.
Sorry, I think we have an internet problem. So if you
okay, so
scenarios and
at
how
the enterprise.
Sorry, I think there's some disturbance here. So
Go ahead.
If you talk about some scenarios, current or future scenario, and how program managers show the leadership role, capabilities in this kind of scenario.
Oh, sure. That's a good question, though. So, I can give you my, like I said, like when I'm working with a chief information officer who are at 1,000 feet high, versus I have a program manager who works for me who is at 100 feet high at a ground level, taking care of a lot of things. How do I travel between these 2 people all the time? What are the aids, or what are the things that I use, right? Certainly, how do you manage the complexity, and how volatile the environment is, how uncertain it is, and how ambiguous it is. So when those things are first, categorized, when they will be categorized, when we plan our business case for any program. That's when we kind of capture all these complexities. A business case with a roadmap, with a vision and goals, all those beautiful words you guys learn when you do the program management as well. Those are the things that we start at a portfolio planning. So of course, the main binder is risk. So we kind of take a look at it. We always weave the risk into a business case, into your charter, into who the people that we will be managing, what the size of the program, what the complexity, what the technologies. These are some of the aids that we formulate at a portfolio planning level while we are writing up that complex business case, or setting up the plan or the vision for a CEO or a CIO. That's how I work on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a weekly basis.
Interesting. So, as a program, so your role is currently program manager, or you looking after multiple program managers?
So my title is, I worked as vice president and senior director, and those are the things that usually depends on since I manage like a portfolio of programs. So my title changes with each program. So at least simultaneously I manage proposal side, I manage execution side, I manage the retiring a program as well. So that's how the main work areas are. So coming back to your question of the scenarios, the kind of leadership, like I explained. So Agile, I champion Agile transformations. Not only just prescribing Agile to everybody, but we kind of hybrid complex processes, we package it when we write the business case itself. So that has amounts of ITIL, that has amounts of Agile, that has amounts of CMMi, whether it is level 3 organization, level 4 organization. We do have heavy securities. So I am a big champion of SecOps as well. So security ops being like, in the government side, we implement a 4300A, risk RMF frameworks and all. So, there are a lot of things that we package in that. A business case will be like, anywhere between 100 pages long. So that's how we kind of write that much details when we, because, all these programs are a minimum program value of $550 million to $1 billion. These programs are that's the complexity of financial complexity that involves. Over to you. You have any questions or?
I'm getting a question here. Let me see. How can a PM grow into next level into program management? What key skills are to be exhibited to get into such a role and provide value?
Sure. So leadership is, an art and a science. So the basic, I will be one of those examples that I want to say that I don't have a PMP. I worked for Lockheed Martin for almost 12 years. Lockheed Martin, they have their own huge learning and huge PMP of their own PMP. So it is called Systems Engineering 105, and each branch has its own kind of certification, and we should be certified on all those. Otherwise, we cannot be a PM on that program. So gone are those days. If you are in Lockheed Martin, it's for that organization. So what I mean to say is, what your organization fosters or prescribes. So in the government industry, if you want to grow from a first level manager to a program manager, obviously you need a PMP. And the next step in that process is PgMP, and then portfolio management. So once you have a project management experience, you understand how you manage a project, and you know pretty much the difference of what is a project, what is a program, then you definitely need that mentors or coaches like Dharam, right? How you grow, because Dharam kind of like, he is in touch with so many industry leaders. He has so many people as those type of career coaches. That's a good definitely one you need it. So obviously you need some mentors, and that you have to reach back. So it's like you create your own roadmap of your career journey. So you need obviously the certifications of, you call it as PgMP, you call it as ITIL, and some I think now ITIL is 4.0, and then on the Agile side, ACP, SPS, Safe Certified Practitioner. So those type of things are one part of your roadmap for your growing into the career, and you got to build it on top of it, your experience. So you and the quals. So I'll give you a specific example. So recently I'm working with this one, we usually chase a government opportunity for 1 or 1.5 years. So when we were chasing on this opportunity, they put such a call for the PM that they need PgMP, they need ITIL 4.0, they need 508. So these kind of, and ISO 90,000. So these kind of things that are, they put it on purpose because they want to eliminate the competition within the big organizations as well. So those are some of the quals that if you want to grow in your career, obviously you need it. Apart from that, you need career coaches or, a mentor in your organization. Always go for skip level meetings or arrange one skip level meeting monthly, or, if your skip level is very busy, at least quarterly, and you kind of like, see where you are at. And, on the LinkedIn, you have good people out there that they want to coach. But you got to be careful who you want to choose, and those type of options are there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Naga. And other thing is, you clearly said having a plan and having right attitude and right certificates really, really useful. So I always tell to my student, look, yes, just like plan, before we even come to the plan, we need to have a vision where we want to see ourselves in 3 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, even you can come up to 20 years' time. And that vision should be very clear to you, with no doubt. But so if you have any doubt in your mind that, you know what, I want you to be the president of the United States, but sorry, president is too high at the moment. But anything, let's say I want to start a company, I want to be the program manager, and to be program manager, what are the skills I need? What qualification I need? As Naga mentioned, you probably need PMP first, you need PgMP, and not only these certificates, but I need to have some leadership qualities. So I need to get into some leadership trainings, and many things you will do. So you need to find, this is my vision, this is my path, these are the things I will be doing to climb this ladder. And yeah, another thing is don't just go for the position or something, we go for money, position. These are the materialistic things. But what I'm going to achieve by achieving that role, becoming CEO of the company, what I will do for the company, what I will do for the society. So that these kind of things bring automatic energy to you. That's where I go into the spiritual side. But yes, so coming back to the topic, you need to have right direction, and you need to have a right attitude, right certification, and experience in all kind of things. Good people in your life. So yeah, good. Thanks. Thanks for the question. Well, really awesome question. So I think I have another question. Let me take. I like to have questions. So currently I hold PMP. Given my career goal to grow into senior management role, I was thinking of doing PfMP. I would like to have some thoughts on this, whether it's a good or bad idea. Okay, all right.
So I tell you this, any learning is not at all a bad. Learning is always good. We should always be young in heart and learners all the time. See, like I want to mention this, I'm not going towards spiritualism or anything. So one of the Nobel Peace winner, Sadhguru, he tells, like, are any of the big Einstein to any of those big stalwarts, they tell you have to have that you should enjoy that, you want to enjoy that, and you want to be well equipped to take that challenge, and for that, learning itself is a first step. You obviously have to do that, and nothing, as per me, any course or anything is really good. I always keep my goals as get something every year. If I don't do anything, I just go for a Kaizen event, or I just go for teach younger kids debate competition, or do a cyber mission. So PfMP is really good. So for PfMP, you want to do, you need to understand why you want to do PfMP. So, so you want to handle that or understand the portfolio complexity of what is a portfolio and what gets you out of it. It's an ocean. So definitely it gets you that first step. If you do the PfMP, how you can support yourself and well equipped with PfMP knowledge, then you can kind of like, always compare with your work related and how that helps you position yourself, eliminate from the competition. That's a good model too. So for those type of things, yes, you need to talk to people like I all said, Dharam is really good, so he can introduce you to portfolio leaders, how they are doing. So in my this thing, I handle a lot of big portfolios. Yes, I want a portfolio leader who understands a portfolio, how you constitute a portfolio, underneath a portfolio, how many programs will be there, how many projects will be there, because a portfolio can have individual projects and it will have programs, underneath programs you have projects. It's sometimes you don't have to have a project needs a portfolio, but a project doesn't need a program. So that's the beauty of portfolio management. So if you study portfolio management, they'll give you the framework, and PMI is very much established. They are coming up with this novel ideas of 21st century and introducing new frameworks, because they are evolving along with the industry or changing needs of the the humanity itself or the nature of the business itself. So for COVID now, the model entirely shifted from Microsoft to Oracle to Google to Facebook, Twitter. They all changed their business. They changed, they tweaked it, and they changed their business model. And I used to have a big office versus now I have a home office. Yeah, I don't have to travel. A lot of adjustments we did. So PfMP is, it through some framework. Now by the time we augmented to this or doing it, this model, obviously we evolved the new model as well. PfMP is good option though.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks, Naga. It's really awesome way of explaining the need for a certificate. So as I always tell, a certificate is not just to have a 4-letter behind your name or 3-letter behind your name. It's a good way. People do recognize you because you are a PgMP or PfMP. But more than that is what you learn from the certificate. What are you going to achieve after learning this certificate is more important than just having a certificate. And as Naga explained very well, the reason you have to have certification and how this will help you to get into the next level of your career. Just another thing, another view is now, and I don't know other countries, but in the United States, especially the government jobs, the government contracts, they're asking for specific certificate like PMP, as you mentioned, PMP, PgMPs, and even PfMPs. And I'm seeing good growth or requirements are coming from lots of recruiters as well. So, one day it will become norm, just like PMPs ask for every certificate, or PgMP and PfMP are getting, you will see more and more jobs with the more and more requirements. So I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
I want to add you that. So all G15s, which are like, executives. So after G15, it is senior, they call it as executives in government side.
Yeah.
So executives, executive positions are like, deputy CIO issues. Usually earlier, days, they used to take PhDs where they understand that complexity and all that, type of like, they can do a lot of modeling, sim processing, or, establish the culture or the the standards or the technology stack, or they used to think doctorate people have that mindset, or they have that vision, versus now it's the shift in the model, right? So if you have a PfMP, oh, this guy, oh, you have a PfMP, I don't have to worry much. Hey, this is the portfolio, and I want you to come up with a plan, and I want to review it, and I don't have to teach you or mentor you anything, and because you already know what is a portfolio and my expectations, I'll just chalk on the whiteboard, hey, these are my 5 objectives. I wanted this portfolio to be expanded, set up, or how do you initiate a new portfolio versus how do you change the existing portfolio, and how do you throw the money in it, or business model, yes, I mean, that's how we work.
Okay. Good. Thank you. And I hope yeah, people are getting value out of this. Perfect. Thank you, Naga. Very well said. Let me take one more question here, and this is more related to our topic as well. How can we align or link SAFE portfolio with the PMI portfolio management method? Which method is more practically aligned with Agile delivery?
Can you repeat the question one more, the first part?
Yes. So the question is, how can we align or link SAFE portfolio, what is mentioned in the scale Agile? I don't know if you are aware of that. With PMI portfolio management.
Yep.
And which method is more practically aligned with Agile delivery?
So we do that all the time. The government side of the business, they don't want a vendor lock, they don't want a process lock, they don't want a prescriptive answer for when you are packaging your when you want to win a program or a bid or a proposal. So how do you do that is SAFE. I'm a big fan of SAFE as well. So SAFE comes with at a portfolio level. It gives you that guardrails. So the guardrails of how do you organize your entire leadership team, what your co-ops are, and the governance portion of it, and it gives that framework that you can easily tie it back to the program management principles and portfolio management principles with a triangle cone, and inside a you call it as art. It's in SAFE it is called art, the entire framework. It looks like you have trains inside it, and then kind of like each portfolio has it's a 3-tier. Gosh, I mean, I wish I could show something, and we do that all the time. And then so for a initial planning purposes, the right amount of change, accepting the change and constantly accepting the change in the portfolio level, that's what we do, that model combination experiment with the governance. Because SAFE and Agile gives lots of freedom for the governance level as well, because they are prescriptive, they are all inclusive, and you have a methodical PMI's frameworks of how you kind of like invert the cone from a triangle to a triangle itself. So those type of things we hybridize, and we threw it for the customers to win these big business portions of it. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And good. And I have I don't know, it's a comment or what he's saying. I'm from India. I don't know what this means. Yes. So we are also originally from India. Okay. That may be the science. Okay. I think probably somebody writing our question probably left in between. Naga, coming back to my question, so we have been talking about agility and enterprise. So how to deliver successful program in this kind of changing environment, agile environment?
So, I can, like I can mention a couple of big companies which we said, like, we all the time look for what is it that is being asked by the customers, what is the driver, the requirement, right? It all ends up with that requirement and value. So what is the value that the customer is getting? Is it financial value? There are tangible and intangible. You read all of these in the PgMP as well and PfMP as well. What are tangible benefits? What are intangible benefits? And I'm glad they introduced the PgMP, because it goes back to that benefits management. So it has that 5 capabilities that they packaged the whole PgMP. That's what it is, the benefits management, the beauty of governance, how you weave it together. And it all starts with your strategy, and you kind of lay down all your process program life cycle. So it doesn't matter, any life cycle. You can define, you can tweak, and you can come up with how you arrange your own phases and activities. They prescribe like a lot of activities. You don't have to follow all of them. What makes sense? So it's always, I advocate, the process should not dictate us. The process should work for us as a, the process should work for us. That's how it is. So we are servant masters. So so the process should serve us. So that's how that whole thing will be, packaged, and then automatically you deliver the product. So we in my current organization, we have an Agile Solution Factory that was initially started for a program, a group of people that started it, and now it's an equal competitor for SAFE itself. So CACI is one of the biggest, one of the solutions are Agile Solution Factory. It has like almost 4 or 5 billion worth programs that are working in that model. So we are, opposite to competitive, equal opponent to SAFE model itself. So, how do we deliver it? It's a continuous process. It's not like a bookish one-line message. It's how you organize your scrums to portfolios to scrum of scrums to, at the end of the day, the governance and delivering the value package and the benefits, whether you deliver the benefit or not. And we package all the benefits management into SLAs and KPIs, and it's always, did you meet the SLA, did you meet the KPI, did you deliver the benefit or not? That is weekly, monthly, quarterly goal. Over to you.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Right. Okay. Now I got the full question. And same as previous question, I am PMP working with pharma company to move to a leadership position. Which is the best qualification? That is PgMP, PfMP, or MBA, or from any MBA from reputed institution. So we are comparing PgMP, PfMP, and MBA.
That's good. That's good comparison. So I'm telling, I gave my example. I don't have PMP. Why I did PgMP is it's a very interesting journey though. So when I kind of like talked to Dharam, one of the, I think I saw in the YouTube or somewhere it popped up when I typed PgMP. Why I did was I was in the middle of the proposal, and this whole entire COVID thing started, and we were from home, and I wanted to do something different. And I wanted to do what that matters, totally different. So I don't have MBA, by the way, and I don't have PMP. So I'm combination of all that weird combinations. you can tell. So then I called Dharam. Hey, when I called Dharam, my application is already approved. And those people, I wrote the application while I was writing some, proposal. I told you, I mean, I work like extensively, anywhere between 12 hours to sometimes 18 hours also. So that's the working model. I enjoy doing it. I don't, if I don't have work, I will fall sick. So I wrote the, I kind of like, put my application. They called me 3 times. I'm not available. They left voicemail for me. Then I reached out to them finally. They said, like, are you interested or not? We said, is this the right number or not? So I called them back, and then they have some questions. They told me, madam, you need to kind of a little bit, do this. You have to change the format and all. I said, like, why will I change the format? That's what my experience is. They're like, no, you're good. You have too much things to tell. Can you cut short your experience, or kind of like do this or do that. Yeah, I gave the I tweaked, and I'm a little bit of a I said I'm weird person. I advocate change, and people ask me change my background or what the work is. I was a little bit being adamant. I should not be that. So then I understood what they mean by that. One of the ladies was really good on the PMI side. She explained me, you need to tweak this and this, and then I said okay. I fixed it. I sent it. Then she called me, and she's very good. I mean, she followed up. She called me. She said, your application is approved, madam. I said, thank you so much. And then, I was busy. I didn't, I forgot about it. All of a sudden, this COVID started. Then I called Dharam to motivate myself, to push myself in a class, or, take some, I advocated to my team, do something different. So I have to do that first. That's how I was, raised my dad. Before you preach, you first do it. So I always check on myself before I tell anything. So then I called Dharam, and then he said, yeah, I mean, there is a class coming up, and, I told you, what, sure. And I enrolled that 2-day or 3-day program, right? I mean, did the PgMP, gave the exam, and I have to go through all of that stuff and all. So to grow into leadership thing, you don't need MBA, or you don't need all the combinations, or you can be having one. I'm glad now you have things like PMP or PgMP or PfMP that can, an MBA is too costly, or your goals should be different, or you don't have time. So you have a ready-made option available to do a PgMP or a PfMP, or do these wonderful certifications because you're already working in pharma. You take one of these really quick things and then move on, right? And then if you are aiming for a next level or a leadership role, what that quals that are required for that leadership role, how you get equipped. So you have to imagine yourself that first day of work, or 2 years of work. You call it as job shadowing, or you might be watching your manager, what they do daily. Those type of things, you kind of like, start observing them, and then get these certifications to reach the goal really quick. And people like Dharam, if you have one in the pocket, it always helps you to go through those steps really quick. Dharam, you want to add something?
Yeah, no, very well explained, Naga. And yes, whether you go for PgMP, PfMP, or MBA, there are 3 different things. as Naga mentioned, MBA can be great, but it takes time, lots of time, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 1 year of executive program, part-time. But this thing costs a lot of money, sometimes 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, some good university even more, and a lot of dedication. And Naga, I've seen people after doing MBA from these universities, they come, Dharam, I'm MBA, I did from this, but I still want to do PgMP and PfMP. Okay, okay, let's start again. So, you have to see what's going to work for you. If this MBA going to work for you, why not? And especially if you have money. And PgMP, PfMP, you can easily get them. And I know all investment is there. But let's say for PgMP, what's the MBA or PfMP, and investment can be, let's say, $4,000 to $5,000, maybe less than that. It depends how you prepare it. But MBA, you have to have some big balance, bank balance. So think about it. And what is going to add value to your immediate career? Whether just spending 3 months of hard work of for PgMP, that can give you immediate boost. Then go for it. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is all about. Don't fall in the trap that everybody else is doing MBA or everybody else doing PhD or everybody else doing PgMP. You have to see what is going to work for you. If that thing is going to work for you, go for it. Then don't think about money or time, anything. Then make it happen.
Or you take like I said, sit down with Dharam. You lay down your objectives. Hey, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to. I feel like I'm stuck in the position. I definitely want to grow or grow up. Yes. When you don't be miser when you are setting your goals. Set big goals. That's always good. If you fail, that's fine. I mean, we fail in a lot of things in a daily life. I want to do this. We have only 24 hours, out of which you might, deduct yourself 8 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep, and other things and all. But that's okay. So set big goals, and at least if your bar is 100%, you might reach 90%. If you set 90%, then you reach 70%. That's always the advocates. Our parents advocate, and my kids always tease me. Oh, mommy always says, don't compare with anybody else, but the bar is 100%. Yeah, if the question paper is for 100 points. Why don't you get 100 points? So they teased me on the PgMP, mommy, you are giving this exam after a long time. Why you are, intimidating yourself? Give up, that stuff.
I know. So, yeah, as Naga mentioned, I think one thing I do offer, you probably have seen in the invitation, you can book 15-minute time with me. And if you have booked some time with me, it's your time. And whether you're doing PgMP, PfMP, and I get a weird call, look, Dharam, I'm starting my career. What should I do? Anyway, so I spend time with them as well. So it's not nothing to do with PgMP, PfMP. You're looking for career direction or anything you like. I know I have limited time, by the way. It's not that I can keep reading, but yes, you have to be quick to book the time and be patient with my availability as well. But if you have booked the time, you will get the best from me. Okay. All right. So, okay, how are we going? So let me see another question here. Very popular day. We're getting lots of questions. And lengthy question. I have to read it. Naga, be patient. So a good project manager should able to effectively manage any project irrespective of domain. Okay. However, in practical scenario, it seems a project manager is an aid on to the already gained technical domain knowledge. For instance, how can a project manager in manufacturing industry apply her knowledge into, say, IT industry?
That's a good question. It's a change of industry and change of business model or change of your career itself. Yeah. I have been through those type of phases. I challenge the interviewer, so that's what you get to do as well. I worked, like I said, I started my career. I have a master's in communication and journalism. So I did my master's at the age of 21, my master's complete. And, before completion itself, I got a good internship with one of the highly circulated newspapers in India that is called The Hindu. So I was, at that age, I tell all of kids also, we used to have that passion or that extra pushing ourselves to wherever we are, we want to excel in that field. So I worked with the chief of the staff there on the desk side. I have the privilege to meet the executive editor that time. I worked, but I wanted to get married or settled. Then the life would work that way. I mean, of course, there are a lot of journalists out there. They have families and all. But being me coming from a traditional family and all, what I thought was, if I want to go into a different this thing, so what is it that I can do? So I kind of like got my IT certs as well in when I was doing my master's. I kind of took I think mainframes are some type of challenging course all the way 360 turn. So I did that, and then got into the IT technical side. Then and then I went to Singapore. I went to then US. If you come to US, all of a sudden it's totally different scenario. You need to have go through those hoops of H1, green card, citizenship. Then you need to work on government side. Then you need to have top secret or at least secret and those type of things. And then wherever you are working, that organizational requirement. So you first need to do that groundwork of which organization are you are working, or which organization you are aiming at. So if you are coming from a the construction industry to the IT industry, so if your skill set is management, then bottom line, you go tell them, hey, construction industry is more complicated than IT industry. So I can bring to the table, these are my, strengths. So I can manage this much complexity. I can do this, and with my certifications like, PMP or PgMP or PfMP. Don't take me wrong that, because I'm giving the seminar or I am advocating for these things, but these are like common. These are minimum quals that are required if you want to grow in the, leadership roles. Apart from this, there is, in the government side, we still have like, DoD side, they offer a lot of courses, requirements management, say security operations, and lots of things so that we get ourselves, do those exams to make sure our organization is well equipped to go after this new business or new proposals side as well. I hope that answers.
Yeah, I think that's good explanation. And yeah, I've seen this happening more very often. People are changing their career. Like my wife, she was a metallurgical engineer, nothing to do with IT. And when she has to move to Australia, those days, she did some courses or something, and she probably can't spell metallurgy properly now. She's totally out of that. Not to say that she can. I mean, I've changed myself. Whenever I'm changing jobs, I was going from infrastructure to data center to tower, moving the big towers to the IT with the middleware and the backend. So the people, when they're hiring, they're not only looking, yes, domain knowledge is important. What are you bringing to the table? What expertise you're bringing? What qualification? Are you able to learn? Are you eager to learn? Adaptability is another thing. Yes, you come from construction to IT, but yes, you need to think like IT project manager, program manager. And that's what they look for.
Yep. Adaptability, all inclusiveness. That's what
Exactly.
you the leadership. Of course, some leaders are born, they are by birth they are leaders. Like the famous quote, right? Some achieve greatness. Greatness is thrusted on some people. We always achieve it. So then automatically certain things they come automatically when you start achieving those.
Yeah.
Always okay. If you want to change the industry, have a mentor or look at it. Who closely worked in that field and who can help you understand the complexity or how you wet your feet in that industry as well.
So Naga, I do have a few questions, and we are out of time, but we continue talking. And I like to give the code, video code, before we go to the next question. I hope you are okay to stay a little longer.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being
So I have already shared the code on the chat, and you can note down for people who are listening who are not at the moment here. Let me give the code. Course identifier is PMEXP, P for Peter, M for Mary, E for elephant, X and P for Peter, and dash NB, that's the Naga and B Bandaru, and dash 01, that's the course identifier PMEXP dash NB dash 01, and PDU code is 3998, B for boy, H for Harry, 123, letter T. Let me repeat, 3998, B, H, 123, T. All right. If you have not understood, please let me know, and I will give you again. But people already on the call, you can see the chat. The PDF code is already given to you. Okay, so that's the PDF code. Now coming back to the questions, looks like there's so many people they wanted to, and this is a good session actually. I think because we're getting to talk about the career. I think the topic was something else, but we are still agile actually. That's where the agility comes picture. We change. Okay, so someone who is still not in program or portfolio management role, can you recommend one great book that share real life experience in program and portfolio management? Any book you have read? Anything you like to talk about? Do you remember anything?
So yeah, so I don't recommend one. Like I said, prescriptive is always not good. So PMI's portfolio management, the guide, practice guide. It's a very good one to start with. And there are I read a lot extensively because we kind of like we don't throw the same options all the time. Because we want to be innovative. Innovation is my key buzzword all the time. I myself take in a year at least one deep dive from 1,000 feet high to 100 feet height, and I run some innovation as a super product owner. Kind of drive it. I'll give you this great example. I think that helps you guys. So we experimented. We want to have this build our own company brand product that can help win this other the 300 million program, right? This is in a way IRADs, which IRADs are always every company encourages. We kind of put the money initially, $1 million, and we invest it, and we recover it when we win the new businesses based on that. So it was given to a program manager, and it did not happen. And then my US operations chief asked, Naga, can you lead it? Then I said sure. So I took as a product owner role using the portfolio management concepts, and then I have took all new people of they are 20 years of experience and they worked in the industry. Within our organization, I took 10 people who don't know anything of the technology or anything, but they have the experience with our company and with the industry. Then accelerated and we created this product. I may not be able to tell you what the product is. It's called Marketplace. So we started with 5 use cases, and the first month is like I gave all the people freedom to do and set up and all that. And the first month review with all the senior executives and all these people came and they thought they did really wonderful and all. It was ripped up by everybody, and they got a feeling of they were being intimidated. So I injected myself, like I said, as a product owner, and then introduced the portfolio management. I read extensively on portfolio management, not just reading through the industry leaders what they are going through, also through the talks like with people like Dharam and big industry CIOs, what's their pain points, what's their challenges and all that. And I packaged that 5 use cases. I grew it up into over 100+ use cases, and within 1 month time period, I moved with the same people. I worked, they worked 8 hours only. I worked 18 hours on a daily basis, and I got this product out within 6 months, and it won lots of kudos. So what I mean to say is, don't confine yourself. Like I said, set the big goals. Read extensively. There are, PMI's portfolio practice guide. That's a good starting point. And, there are a lot of people who wrote on portfolios. So it all depends on which organization you want to take that portfolio. So what type of programs that they are going after, right? So what type of portfolio you want to set. For a medical or pharma industry, it will be different tool sets, versus for a IT industry, it's different tool sets, versus a construction or a car making, it's totally entirely different. So that's how you should look at it. Dharam, you want to add something?
No, that's perfect. I mean, books, there are several books. And I mean, I think nowadays, instead of following just books, LinkedIn, people are sharing lots of good material. Their case studies and learning from project and program and portfolio management. That can be another good source to keep an eye on the blogs and the discussion. I do have lots of blogs like that. You might get benefit from them. And there are several YouTube, and nowadays I think people are learning more from YouTube than anywhere else. You can follow like this channel. This interview will be on the YouTube channel, my channel, and just like this, I have another probably 30-40 interviews like this. So not only you're going to learn from all these industry leaders. So I'm very happy or glad to have people like Naga and many other people who came to this forum, and many more coming in future as well. So this journey itself, you will learn from their experience, my experience, and there are several other leaders you can find. Just don't confine yourself with books. Learn, open yourself, and learn from various other sources. Okay,
At least
yeah, go ahead.
10 or 15 of portfolio management books. At a book level, they kind of like, sometimes confine themselves to principles only, versus like Dharam explained, if you interact with the industry leaders or which industry you want to, how the organization works, that kind of gives you that extra discriminator, you yourself, as what you can bring to the table and how you want to, lift up your knowledge.
Yeah. All right. I do have a, I think, question or comment. I think more to talk about from the MBA versus others. So I think let me read it out. So thank you, Naga and Dharam. It depends upon the person's situation, organization setup. However, in America, corporate world, you need to have MBA if you want to move into the corporate executive leadership role. And personally, I'm follow up to that. I have personally experienced the MBA to move up into the career ladder. So it is more tactical and long-term solution if you have investment.
Yeah, any learning is good. I'm not advocating this way or that way. It all depends on, your roadmap, career, and what you want to achieve, where you want to aim at. I'll give you a classic example. My husband, he worked as, his latest position is a CEO. He has just graduation. He just has graduation. So, he's from India too. So, it does matter. So you need to, yes, definitely not all the people are lucky, or not all the people are, the same way. Yeah, I advocate, if you have any learning, I'm a learner. I mean, if you ask me what you want to do, I just want to go to university and study, do a PhD, do an MBA. My sister is an MBA, so it's always good. But don't go into that image of a degree or a certificate gets you a position. It's both. It's mutual. It's both the ways. So that's how you should view it.
All right, and let's leave it there. Okay. So yeah, I'm working as a project manager. I don't have such as program management and portfolio management. Can I apply for PgMP or PfMP? So Naga, let me take this one. Look,
Yeah.
the role doesn't matter, designation doesn't matter. What matters is the kind of work you've done. If you have, while you call as a project manager, but you are managing a program, so they may be calling it project, because lots of industry they don't have concepts of program. Even the large multi-billion dollar work they call project. So what you have to see whether the combination of projects, I mean, first of all, is it multiple projects and they have interdependency and common outcome. If you have such programs, the work, then you can call it program, and that's where you can apply for PgMP. Same thing goes with portfolio management, PfMP. It depends on experience you have, not just a title you have in your organization. So I will be more than happy to talk about this. Please, if you have some specific question around eligibility, please book a time with me. I'll help you with that. Okay, moving on to next question. Okay, wanted to ask PgMP and PfMP can. Wanted to ask how PgMP and PfMP can benefit usage of agility in projects related to supply chain industry.
Yeah, so program PgMP or PfMP, all inclusive. It includes Agile as well. They have questions. They have a kind of like a package data, by imbibing and by augmenting or by borrowing some of the Agile principles as well. They combined it. So
sorry, Naga, to interrupt you. PgMP, PfMP, there is no mention of agility, agile. There is no concept. They are not asking for agile. This is still PMP level is there, but at the program management and portfolio management level, it does not matter what methodology you're using, first of all, whether you're using agile, hybrid, or waterfall. So PMI is not asking questions around agile for PgMP and PfMP, just to make sure that we're not giving anything incomplete information.
But so, I think weaved the agility. They weaved the agility into PgMP as well.
No. There's no.
When they give the scenarios of governance and
they may talk about you're working in agile program or something.
Exactly. Exactly. So saying don't exclude yourself.
Yeah. So you don't have to learn from if you've never done learn agile for PgMP PfMP, you don't have to worry about. Let's say if you are working in construction industry, you don't have to agile before I go to PgMP or PfMP. No, you don't need to, because that's not applicable for exam. You might see a question which may say that you're working in agile organization, blah 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 something. The agile word can be there, but you don't have to learn agile to go for PgMP.
Right.
Okay. So I think okay. That's it. I think we do have other questions, but let's we have covered almost everything. And if anybody has any question, clarification for me or for Naga, I think Naga, you are okay to accept the LinkedIn invitation, and people can reach out to you. And we love to help you out in whatever way we can.
More than me, I advocate reach out to Dharam. He has lots of patience and lots of experience, and he will guide you guys a lot. He's there for you. He can pick your call.
Okay, good. I know you're very, very busy. You get busy, but yes, I'm available. I do have a busy schedule, but I'm happy to help you out anytime. So I think it was really awesome session, and people stick to the last minute. That's a great sign that they are still learning, and probably they don't want to go away anyway. But yes, Naga, it was really awesome. You explained a lot of things, and you have shown how to be a leader and grow yourself as a leader, and not just by certification or MBA or something. It's also multiple combination of many things: attitude and vision and planning. All works very well when you have a direction, sense of direction. So I think you have done really well by explaining a lot of things. So thank you very much, Naga. Thank you for accepting my invite and coming here and explaining all these beautiful things. So I'm sure people love it.
I just want to add, don't chase Dharam. Hey, I got my PgMP, I didn't get promoted. Just on the lighter note.
Yeah. These certificates, actually, when I tell people, just because done PMP, PgMP, PfMP doesn't mean you will get automatic promotion. You need to sell yourself. People need to see who you are, what value you're going to bring, not just having a 3-letter or 4-letter word behind your name. You need to really show them, especially when you go for an interview. In the interview, it will come out automatically. So I think people I'm getting lots of good comments here. I really enjoyed listening, Naga. Thanks, Dharam, for your passion and hard work. Okay, great. And lots of wonderful comments. So thank you all for joining, guys. So please keep an eye on the future webinars. I think next weekend we have, next weekend, Mansoor is running a program that's for Agile and Scaled Agile. I will be there interviewing him or talking to him. But almost every week, I'm having sessions. So please keep an eye on the future webinars. Not only come for PDUs, but learning from industry leaders like Naga. So thank you, Naga, for coming. And thank you, everyone, for joining this session. And your wonderful questions really made the session even better.
Thank you all, and thank you for having me, Dharam. And I wish you all of you good luck, and hook up with Dharam for PgMP for your.
I didn't pay for this.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.